Rocket League players make a lot of mistakes, and it's extremely important to be able to identify when those mistakes are happening so we can fix them. The biggest problem is when we make mistakes and we don't even know that we've made them, which is why today we'll be talking about the biggest mistakes that Rocket League players make without even realizing it. The first thing that we want to talk about is flipping into the ball versus flipping through the ball. Now, you might be wondering what the difference is. Well, when you flip into the ball, you're pretty much just making sure that the car contacts the ball at some point during its flip animation. You don't really care when, you just want the car to get contact on the ball at some point during the flip. That way you can say that you used your flip to contact the ball. Whereas flipping through the ball means that you start your flip as the front end of the car contacts the ball. Hitting the ball in this way gives you a lot more power and a lot more precision in your touches. Of course, there are situations where we do just want to flip into the ball. It allows us to get much more control over the ball with lighter touches. But if we're going for power and hard touches across the field, flipping through the ball is definitely the way you want to go. The second thing we want to talk about is utilizing ball cam. Now, for a lot of players, they will pretty much keep ball cam on 100% of the game unless they are going to line up for boost. As soon as they want to go look for boost, they'll toggle it off, make sure they're lined up with the boost pad, and then turn it back on. But there are a lot of other opportunities during the game that turning ball cam off would be extremely beneficial for. We're going to look at one example here where we toggle ball cam off and just see the extra vision that it allows us. We're going to take a look at this play as this ball is coming in on net and my teammate is going to get a save out, and then we'll see what we do here with our ball cam as we work the ball back downfield. So teammate's going to get the clear out. We can see right now, even though ball cam is still on, that we have an opponent way out here in the midfield that we don't really have to worry about him crashing on the ball right away. So as this ball lands, we're going to use that information and turn off ball cam. And the reason we're doing this is because we want to see what angle this guy is approaching from, so we know what direction we should play this ball to get it around him. So we can see that he's approaching from pretty straight on, so okay, we're just going to chip it off to the side of him. Going from the left side here over to the right, we'll be able to get it past him. And now we're going to keep ball cam off here because we don't want to have our ball cam pointed straight up in the air because we lose a lot of vision around our car. If we're looking at the ball here, we can't see if this guy is coming in really fast. So we want to be able to keep our vision as open as possible, which is what we're doing here. So now we use our right stick to take a look to see that, okay, he's not challenging us. So we're just going to stay on this ball, let it bounce. We don't need to rush. We can see him again approaching the ball now, so we'll chip it off the corner wall. And again, keeping ball cam off. We toggled it on for 1 second there, not exactly sure why, but we keep ball cam off, and now we can focus on going for bumps. So at this point, we've pretty much said, okay, we are done with the ball. So keeping ball cam on here would be completely useless because we're not planning on making a play on the ball. We want to make plays on these players here, so by turning ball cam off, we can focus on potentially getting some bumps and demos across this goal. So the fact that we're here does make this guy a little awkward. Ball's in a tough spot, he jumps awkwardly, and now we're going to go ahead and pressure this guy as well and force him to jump. So now that jump puts this guy in the corner of his net in a very awkward spot. Teammate is now crashing in here and is going to get a play out for us. As we can see, he gets this 50 and the ball bounces out. And because of that attempted bump putting this guy in an awkward spot, we now have a ball that we can very easily jump up for, and we get a free goal. So all of that is because we kept our ball cam off and we looked for the opportunities that were available to us around the field. A lot of times keeping ball cam on leads to us not seeing all the opportunities that are available to us, and therefore not being as effective as we'd really like to be on the field. Moving on, we want to talk about utilizing time effectively. Now, one of the most important things in Rocket League is being able to move around the field as smoothly as possible. If you're ever coming to complete stops, it means you now have to use boost to get back up to speed, and we'd rather just preserve the momentum that we already have. And the one way to do this is to make sure that in your rotations, you are utilizing the time you have appropriately to try to arrive exactly where you need to be when you need to be there. So we're going to look at an example right here as we start to push this ball downfield. A little bit of a flub on the recovery, and we'll notice that at this instance, we are pretty much boosting still in this direction, committing to go get our opponent's corner boost. We feel pretty confident in that because our teammate is set back on defense, and this ball is not overly dangerous. It should be a fairly easy clear to the side. Now, is this the best idea to maybe leave my teammate back alone? Why, no, not really, but it seems like he should be fine, so we go ahead and get this boost. So now, on this rotation back, we want to make sure that we get back to the net, if that is indeed where we end up, when we actually need to be there for us to make a play. We don't want to get back there too early, because if we do, we're going to have to kill all our momentum and just come to a dead stop, and then it'll be up to our boost to get us back up to speed. So in this instance, what we probably should be doing is, teammate looks like he should have a play into the corner, and then should be able to follow it up from that position. So I don't think there's any reason for us to rush back directly down the field. We can take a nice wide line here to get back and preserve momentum facing towards where the play is going to be, so we can use that momentum to get in to make a play if we need to. So let's see what we do here. You'll notice that not only are we driving straight down the middle of the field, but we're maintaining our speed so that we get down here as soon as possible. And you'll notice that there's not really much of a reason for us to be here as of yet. Our teammate is still in the corner playing this ball, so we can't really dive into the corner to make a play there because it would cause an awkward double commit in the corner, which you don't want to do. So our other option is just to pull up in net and sit still. If we had rotated wide, maybe we get back into net as this ball is starting to work its way across, and then we can just use our momentum to immediately challenge. Or similarly, we can use the momentum to cut off an infield pass. But by getting here this early, we kind of just have to stop, wait to see what happens, and then hope that our boost is enough to get us up to speed to cut off whatever play comes at us. And you'll notice the awkwardness here as we're just kind of sitting here, and this is a very dangerous spot to be, because any dangerous pass that comes across the field, there is absolutely no chance that we get out to it now. So we are just a sitting duck in net, and we're giving them a lot of options to shoot if a pass does come out. Luckily, in this situation, they aren't really so fluid in their attack, and we do manage to eventually break out here, but it is a very dangerous situation to find yourself in. So the main rule that you should be telling yourself is that if there's no threat on your net, there's no need to rush back as quickly as possible. You want to keep your movement as smooth as you can throughout the game. And the less times you hit the brakes, the more smooth and fast that movement is going to be. The next thing we'd like to talk about is the danger of tunnel visioning on the ball and not keeping your eyes on the other players on the field. So we're going to see this kickoff here, and the ball is going to shoot over to the side. We are going to try to win this race here because we don't really want to commit back to boost and give this team boost and the ball for free up into the air. So we're going to try to at least apply some pressure here up the wall, which I don't hate the idea of. So we apply the pressure. We do get beat, and you'll notice that we do jump. So now we're floating through the air. We do land. So now at this exact moment, we don't know how anyone's approaching the ball out of the midfield, and we're not exactly sure what our teammate's plan is here, but based on his positioning, it is pretty obvious that he has the optimal line to this ball as it bounces forward, and he also has a lot more information than us since he can see what's in front of him. So now what we need to do is very quickly process the information that's available to us in terms of whether we need to stay up on this ball to apply pressure on it, or if we should go back and allow our teammate to come forward. And we're going to get our answer very soon here as we see my teammate start boosting. And there's a flip happening right now as he's headed off screen, but that we also could hear in our headphones. So it's very important to keep your eye on that teammate to see what he's doing. Because if we had seen that, we really probably wouldn't be doing this. And now we've had this massive double commit in the midfield that leads to a very open backline. So this is a very simple example, but this idea can be applied all over the field. Going back to the play that we used for the ball cam example, keeping an eye on the other players is very useful in this situation as well, because it is understanding that this player is in a really awkward spot based on his positioning that tells us that we have this free ball to go for. If we don't pay any attention to this, we might assume that we're going to have a 50-50 in the air, and we might be a bit more hesitant to go for it. But understanding the position of the other players on the field does tell us what plays we can and cannot go for. So it's really important to start to get your eyes working around the field and not just solely on the ball. Because again, if you're tunnel visioned on one thing, you're gonna miss a lot of opportunities around the field. The last and arguably most important mistake that we want to talk about today is autopilot. Now, I recently had a whole video on this topic, so you can feel free to check that out if you'd like to hear about this a little more in detail. But basically, autopilot is when we're kind of just going through the motions and not really thinking about the consequences of the plays we're making. And we're going to see a perfect example of this right here on this kickoff. So we can see that we currently are holding a 1-goal lead with less than a minute left. Well, that's absolutely fantastic. Now, the important thing, especially when having a lead, but pretty much every time, is we really want to make sure our net is kept clean before we worry about how we're going to approach a play further. It's always, is my net good to go? If yes, cool, then what am I going to do next? In this play, however, we're going to see what happens when you don't necessarily follow that rule. So, off kickoff here, let's see how it goes. Kind of kills in the midfield, and now we'll notice at this situation here that one, we've landed with 0 boost, which isn't the best thing, but it's not the end of the world. There's plenty of pads on the way back, or there's the mid boost that we can pick up. That would give us the resources we need to play this out. The other thing we'll notice is that we have our teammate who's come off the back boost coming forward for this ball, for this 50-50 here with 2 types. So now the question we need to be asking ourselves in our head is this dangerous? And if so, we might want to start working our way back. Well, pretty much any 50-50 in Rocket League can be slightly dangerous. So we really want to make sure our net is covered before doing anything else. So to cover our net in this instance, the smart thing to do would be to recognize, okay, this is dangerous. I want to put myself in a position to play off of this challenge wherever it goes so that I have a chance to make a play and possibly sweep the ball out of danger if I need to. So to do that, I'm just going to rotate the small pads that are on the way back to net. That'll probably give me something like 30 boost or so, and I'll have plenty of boost to make a play. Autopilot brain, however, doesn't take into consideration any danger from what we're seeing here. They're just going through the motions, and going through the motions off of kickoff often means I take kickoff, I go get mid boost, without thinking about anything else that's going on. And that is very dangerous, because if we do commit to this mid boost, we've now taken ourselves out to the midfield line for a couple of seconds, and we are now fully out of the play. My teammate is about to take this challenge here, and if he does lose it and the ball ends up towards our net, now he is also on the midfield line, completely out of the play. That means that the ball would then be sitting fairly close to our net, and our opponent would be right on it, able to put it in to the wide open net that we have left for them. So we'd really like to see us recognizing danger and rotating back to net to be able to preserve this lead, and realistically at any point when you recognize danger. But of course, since we're talking about autopilot, here we go out to the mid boost, and now, oh look, yeah, that challenge went pretty terrible, and oh, well, can we get back? Nope, not even close, and that is going to be our lead right out the window, and a really poor decision from us in the midfield to autopilot for that mid boost, rather than playing smart off of the information we had. You need to be able to recognize danger and respond appropriately, and not just wander around the field without thinking at all. I do hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, make sure you click that subscribe button right down below, so you make sure you don't miss any future Rocket League content. Additionally, if you'd like to be more involved in this community, please consider joining my Discord, link down in the description. So thank you everybody so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. See you later, guys.